story of alleged cult NXIVM has all the makings of a binge-worthy docuseries. A secretive leader who allegedly had women branded with his initials, wealthy heiresses who helped finance the organization, and a Hollywood actress accused of luring in fresh recruits. Leader Keith Raniere and actress Allison Mack have been arrested and now face charges of sex trafficking and forced labor. NXIVM denies it's a cult and says it's working with the authorities to demonstrate Raniere's innocence. Raniere and Mack have pleaded not guilty and are awaiting trial. Their lawyers wouldn't comment for this piece. But one person is talking, the obsessed former NXIVM employee who broke the story in the first place.
I'm trying to write a song that's appropriate for Raniere, and this came to my mind. Because it is an American story.
This is Frank Parlato, the guy who originally revealed the alleged sex slave cult around Keith Raniere. Though he lives in upstate New York, he spends time on his properties in Key West. So how much do you come out here on a boat?
The answer is every day I can.
So what else do you do for fun?
Write about Raniere?
In 2007, Parlato was recommended to work for Raniere by his consultant friends who both briefly did work for the group. Infamous political operatives Roger Stone and Steve Pigeon. Parlato is a real estate developer on paper, but had built a reputation for relentlessness in local political fights. He believed the Raniere-run NXIVM was a legit company under attack from bad people, and it sent him a list of those people to seek and destroy.
Here was what they wanted me to do.
What does this mean, smash mouth $225,000?
That was what they were willing to pay me for, smashing various people.
Why do they call it smash mouth?
Because they wanted these people destroyed.
And it says here, disbarment $25K. Does that mean they'd pay you $25,000?
If I did that.
If you got them disbarred?
Correct.
Whoa. Just a hearing will get you $15K.
So this is what they were up to.
Discredit, indict, $50,000.
Right.
Wow, this is quite a list. But taking out enemies wasn't the only thing NXIVM wanted Parlato to do. When he was asked to help NXIVM get a loan, he learned members and Seagram's heirs, Claire and Sarah Bronfman, had lost a shocking amount of money in the commodities market. He says Claire told him Raniere had been making the trades.
So, well, why did you invest $65 million and lose it all? Don't you think that's a little bit unusual? And she said, unfortunately, my father, Edgar Bronfman Sr., he wanted to thwart Keith's successful investment, so he manipulated the entire commodities market in tandem with the quote-unquote Illuminati.
What did you think when she told you that?
I suspected she was being defrauded.
The notice he was fired didn't give a reason. But Parlato thinks it was because he questioned Raniere by asking for receipts of the trades. According to court documents, the Bronfmans did lose $65 million in commodities trades, and Parlato recovered millions in real estate investments for the sisters. But in an act Parlato saw as a betrayal, they later said he took $1 million, which he claims was payment. We were unable to reach the Bronfmans after multiple attempts for comment. Then the FBI indicted Parlato, with the disputed $1 million a factor in just one in a string of charges dating back over a decade. Parlato refused a plea deal and says he's innocent, and so began his war with NXIVM.
And that was when I had an awakening, Ellie. I had no idea the depths of their dishonesty. And then I said, if they had done this to me, and all of these other enemies that supposedly had cheated them, they were also probably similarly innocent. And I turned on an instant and said, this is more than a kooky group. This is a crazy group, a criminally insane group. And it's not just Raniere.
So couldn't NXIVM say you're just a disgruntled employee with an axe to grind?
Not only could they say it, but they did say that.
And are they right?
Well, disgruntled, no. Ex-employee, yes. Axe, yes, a punishing axe. I sharpened my axe.
Okay. Parlato turned on NXIVM with the fury it had hired him to use against its enemies. He carpet-bombed Raniere and NXIVM with attacks on his website. He also deployed the two other publications he co-owns, Art Voice and the Niagara Falls Reporter, a tabloid he'd used in the past to wage war against the popular Niagara Falls boat tour.
Part of my strategy was to mock Raniere. I photoshopped images of him. I wrote fictional stories about him just to make him look ridiculous, because sometimes that's necessary too.
And he wrote a lot. So how many hours total do you think you spent on this?
How many hours are there in a year?
Do you think you've spent a cumulative year on this?
Maybe.
Some of Parlato's practices are questionable. He tries to confirm his scoops with multiple sources, but he also posts the names and photos of the women who are allegedly NXIVM slaves. Tell me a little bit more about the decision to name them. I mean, that's pretty controversial. Like, even in newspapers now, they don't name rape victims.
Because they weren't exclusively victims. Because they were recruiting others to be victims. So there was an incredible pressure on these women to recruit other women into this sex slaver cult.
More than 2 years into his anti-NXIVM campaign, Parlato revealed women were being branded in a secret ceremony. The New York Times confirmed the story in October, which led to a federal investigation.
When the New York Times came out, that was the game changer, because then I had validation for all the things that I'd written.
Until the Times story came out, what did your friends and colleagues say about your obsession?
That I was insane.
What would you tell them?
I gotta write one more story. There's something here, and it has to be stopped.
NXIVM will never be the same, but Parlato isn't over it.
He went after me, and I flipped him on his back and landed him in prison. And that's where he is today, as we're speaking here, as inmate number 57005-177. He went to win, and I went to win, and he lost.